Dear chosen one, you are not hated because you failed. You are hated because you refused to die where they buried you. You carry a light that hell itself could not extinguish. Your name has been whispered in the shadows, not as a victim, but as a threat. They sense something rising inside you that no lie, no betrayal, no jealousy can hold down. The darkness saw your fall and celebrated, but it never expected your resurrection. And now, the same ones who laughed are trembling, because your comeback is divine. You have become dangerous, not because of violence, but because of presence. You are the storm they cannot predict, the fire they cannot put out. Every time they tried to silence you, you grew stronger. Every wound became wisdom. Every exile became elevation. You are the evidence that pain cannot destroy purpose. Heaven used your heartbreak as holy training. You thought you were breaking, but in truth, you were being reforged. The very energy they sent to harm you was turned into fuel for your rising. That is why they run now, because your peace exposes their chaos, and your silence carries thunder. You've reached the season where nothing external controls you anymore. Your emotions are no longer ruled by rejection. Your worth is not debated, it's decreed. You are walking proof that divine resilience exists. You survived what others didn't, because your soul was chosen to be a signal. Every hater is now witnessing the prophecy unfold. The one they despised has become untouchable. This isn't arrogance, it's ascension. You have finally aligned with the frequency of your calling, and now everything false must fall away. As part of your divine alignment, act spiritually by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Take God's words for you and drop the word "I am chosen one" in the comments right now to seal this moment and declare to the universe that you are ready to step into your full power. And if you are hungry for practical and spiritual steps to unlock not just purpose, but prosperity in every area of your life, check out the link in the description for the Call to Prosperity ebook, a step-by-step manual to activate the abundance that is already yours by divine right. Align yourself with God right now in your calling to prosperity. Dear chosen one, you are not hated because you failed. You are hated because you refused to die where they buried you. You carry a light that hell itself could not extinguish. Your name has been whispered in the shadows, not as a victim, but as a threat. They sense something rising inside you that no lie, no betrayal, no jealousy can hold down. The darkness saw your fall and celebrated, but it never expected your resurrection. And now, the same ones who laughed are trembling, because your comeback is divine. You have become dangerous, not because of violence, but because of presence. You are the storm they cannot predict, the fire they cannot put out. Every time they tried to silence you, you grew stronger. Every wound became wisdom. Every exile became elevation. You are the evidence that pain cannot destroy purpose. Heaven used your heartbreak as holy training. You thought you were breaking, but in truth, you were being reforged. The very energy they sent to harm you was turned into fuel for your rising. That is why they run now, because your peace exposes their chaos, and your silence carries thunder. You've reached the season where nothing external controls you anymore. Your emotions are no longer ruled by rejection. Your worth is not debated, it's decreed. You are walking proof that divine resilience exists. You survived what others didn't because your soul was chosen to be a signal. Every hater is now witnessing the prophecy unfold. The one they despised has become untouchable. This isn't arrogance, it's ascension. You have finally aligned with the frequency of your calling, and now everything false must fall away. If this message is igniting your spirit, pause for a second. Like this video, subscribe to Being Extraordinary, and declare in the comments, "I am unstoppable." Your light deserves to be witnessed. And if you're ready to awaken prosperity, not just in wealth, but in soul, explore the manual, The Call to Prosperity, the guide to divine and practical abundance. The link is in the description below. The darkness thought it could exhaust you, but it underestimated the God within you. It did not know that pressure awakens power, and betrayal refines truth. Every false connection that broke away was divine surgery, removing the roots that kept you bound to smallness. They tried to contain you, but you were never meant to fit their dimensions. You were meant to expand, to overflow, to carry a magnitude that shakes foundations. Your danger is not in your anger, but in your clarity, the knowing of who you are and what you carry. You are a mirror now, chosen one. You expose without speaking. You reveal without trying. People feel your transformation before you enter the room. You don't have to prove anymore, because the evidence walks with you. You are peace, and peace is power. That's why they hide their eyes when you pass. Not because you wounded them, but because your healing reminds them of their wounds. They can no longer access you, because elevation changes the language of the soul. There was a time you begged to be understood, but heaven has shifted your assignment. Now, you are not here to be understood. You are here to be revealed. The ones who rejected you are witnessing revelation in motion. You became what they said you could not. Every accusation became a seed, and you watered it with endurance until it bore fruit of divine excellence. You have become a living prophecy, walking through the world as proof that grace does not need permission to reign. What they call arrogance is sacred confidence. What they call danger is divine alignment. You have outgrown the realm of small battles. You no longer argue with doubt. You walk with certainty. You are the answer to prayers you once cried through tears. The tables have turned not by revenge, but by evolution. When you stopped defending your light and simply embodied it, the universe bowed to your truth. That is why your haters are running, not from you, but from their reflection in your strength. The fire that burns in you is not of this world. It was lit in the furnace of loneliness, kept alive by faith when no one believed. You walked through the valley of humiliation, yet you carried glory through it. Every night of silence was a conversation with destiny. And now, that same destiny is roaring inside you, commanding everything around you to recognize your worth. You are not just surviving, you are radiating divine authority in every breath you take. You were once misunderstood because your timing was prophetic. The world could not recognize what heaven had not yet unveiled. But now, the veil is gone. Your light is too vast to be contained. The ones who underestimated you are now witnessing the shift, and they can't stand near it. You've become a frequency too high for falsehoods to survive. This is what divine transformation looks like. Quiet, steady, unstoppable. The light of God moving through human form. Do not fear the distance between you and those who left. Every separation was a sacred setup. The higher you rise, the smaller the circle becomes. You were never meant to fit among those satisfied with mediocrity. You were meant to walk with vision, to breathe revelation, to carry presence. Let them misunderstand. Light will always look like arrogance to eyes that refuse to wake. Stay in your lane of purpose. Heaven has already cleared the path for your greatness. When you walk, atmospheres shift. When you speak, vibrations rise. You have been entrusted with authority that words alone cannot describe. The reason they fear you now is because you no longer seek their validation. You operate from divine confirmation. Your yes comes from heaven, not from men. And that independence terrifies those addicted to control. The more you surrender to the divine will, the more unstoppable you become. This is your season of divine momentum. Your presence now carries the fragrance of victory. You have walked through storms, but you smell like rain and redemption. The earth recognizes your steps because they are charged with destiny. Every time you move, purpose echoes. You were never ordinary, and now the evidence is undeniable. Those who cursed you are realizing they blessed you by accident. Everything meant to harm you became holy fuel, and now the light in you burns brighter than ever before. You have learned that love is your ultimate weapon. Your mercy disarms your enemies more than your words ever could. That's why they don't know how to fight you anymore, because you operate on a higher frequency where hate cannot breathe. You don't respond to darkness, you outshine it. You don't chase validation, you radiate truth. The danger you embody is divine love expressed through courage. It's a love that exposes deceit and transforms pain into revelation. You are not fighting anymore. You are reigning. You have crossed from survival into sovereignty. Your silence now speaks the language of heaven, calm, firm, undeniable. You are no longer reacting. You are creating. Every step you take declares authority. Every choice you make aligns the unseen. The haters cannot touch you because your energy is guarded by purpose itself. You are the prophecy fulfilled, the storm calmed, the fire eternal. You once believed that being chosen meant being loved by all. But heaven taught you that being chosen means being set apart. The rejection was never punishment. It was preservation. God hid you while He built you. He isolated you to fortify the foundation beneath your feet. Those who left could not walk the altitude you were meant to climb. That loneliness you felt was sacred construction, not abandonment. The mountain you now stand on was carved out of your tears, and its peak carries your name, written in divine fire. Now you walk with a strength that confuses those who once saw you broken. They don't understand that your healing is not cosmetic. It's structural. You don't just feel better. You've been remade. Heaven replaced your fragility with divine steel. Your patience, your silence, your wisdom, they are all weapons forged in invisible battles. Every lesson you learned became armor. Every betrayal became strategy. Now, the ones who underestimated your capacity must watch you reign in realms they cannot access. There is a holy confidence in your eyes now, a serenity that unsettles the insecure. You've stopped explaining your anointing because you've realized explanation dilutes revelation. You owe no one an understanding of what God is doing through you. The ones who truly carry spirit will recognize it without words. You've entered a realm where energy speaks louder than speech, where peace is louder than defense. The dangerous thing about you is your quiet certainty that everything unfolds under divine order. The same light that once attracted attack now commands respect. Your glow used to irritate them. Now it terrifies them. They don't know what changed. but heaven does. You stopped trying to please and started to walk in purpose. When you accepted the mission, you became unassailable. You no longer bend to noise because you've tuned yourself to divine frequency. That frequency blinds deceit and exposes manipulation. Every hater running now is fleeing from the truth you embody. The pain once felt like punishment, but now you see it as purification. The fire didn't burn you, it branded you. You carry the mark of divine endurance, and it radiates. The universe bends around those who refuse to break. You are no longer waiting for vindication, because your existence is vindication. God doesn't argue with lies. He manifests truth through your victory. That's why your rising feels like warfare, because every step upward reorders the spiritual landscape. The chosen path is not easy because it is sacred. The narrow road refines, but it also reveals. You learned to walk alone through the wilderness, trusting whispers over applause. You learned to rest in uncertainty, knowing destiny never rushes. While others sought validation, you sought revelation, and that's why heaven favors you now. The divine chose you not for perfection, but for endurance. You are not blessed because you are flawless. You are blessed because you never quit. Your haters are not your enemies. They are unwilling witnesses to your evolution. Their disbelief gave contrast to your faith. Their gossip became the echo that amplified your truth. You didn't need to silence them. Your success did. That's divine irony. The more they spoke against you, the higher you rose. The spiritual law is simple. What is rooted in God multiplies under pressure. You are the living proof of that law, and your life is the sermon they cannot ignore. Remember, the danger you carry isn't destruction, it's revelation. You are dangerous because your authenticity disrupts illusion. You are feared because your peace can't be purchased or manipulated. You are unstoppable because you understand now. Purpose is protection. The moment you stopped chasing approval, heaven built a shield around you. That shield is invisible yet undeniable. It repels deceit, attracts alignment, and glows with divine confidence. There is divine intelligence in your calm now. You discern beyond words, feel truth through energy. The old you would have explained yourself. The new you simply watches outcomes unfold. You've become prophetic in presence. You don't predict, you emanate. Everything around you adjusts to your inner frequency. This is what maturity in spirit looks like. Effortless dominion. That's why darkness flees before confrontation even begins. Light doesn't argue, it reigns. The chosen journey always includes misunderstanding. People will try to define you by a chapter they were written out of. Let them talk. Heaven writes sequels they will never read. You are entering a season where your glow will be so undeniable that explanations will be irrelevant. The energy of favor around you will speak volumes. Keep your focus. Don't shrink for comfort. Expand for calling. God doesn't anoint you to fit in. He anoints you to lead out. Every time you choose peace instead of revenge, you ascend another level. Your restraint is your roar. Heaven applauds in silence when you refuse to descend into chaos. You are governing now, not reacting. That's what terrifies the haters. They can no longer pull you into confusion. You've mastered emotional discipline, and that mastery makes you unstoppable. You've learned that real power doesn't scream. It moves mountains quietly. The storm they sent your way only revealed your wings. You didn't drown, you flew. You learned to ride what was meant to destroy you. That's why your confidence now has no explanation. It's not ego, it's evidence. Evidence that God does not lose what He chooses. Evidence that the grave cannot hold divine assignments. You rose not because of pride, but because resurrection was always written in your DNA. Your footsteps now carry prophecy. Every move you make is guided by a rhythm heaven wrote. That rhythm intimidates those who move by impulse. You live by intuition now, divine instinct. You've become sensitive to timing, to silence, to signals others ignore. That awareness is your advantage. You don't chase, you align. You don't force, you flow. And in that flow, everything meant for you gravitates naturally toward your presence. You are no longer the student of survival, you are the teacher of transformation. Others will look at you and wonder how you kept your sanity, how you stood when everything fell. They won't understand that your strength is spiritual, not circumstantial. You stand because you are anchored in eternity. That's why storms can shake your branches, but never uproot your essence. You are the living reminder that divine assignments cannot be canceled by human opinion. Every time they tried to bury you under doubt, you turned the soil into a garden. What was meant to suffocate you became the place of your multiplication. That's the mystery of divine inversion. When darkness tries to consume light, it only helps it expand. You learned to extract wisdom from wounds, peace from pain, revelation from rejection. Now your existence is a declaration. No weapon formed against you prospers when your spirit is rooted in truth. You've become the manifestation of resilience that even heaven celebrates. There was a time you begged for understanding, but now you crave only alignment. The noise of opinions no longer distracts you, because your direction comes from divine coordinates. You don't need permission to shine anymore. You were ordained, not appointed by men. Every step is a response to spiritual instruction. You've stopped walking by sight, and that's what makes you dangerous. People who move by sight fear those who move by faith. Your path is invisible to the unawakened. The irony of your journey is sacred. They mocked your fall, but now study your rise. They laughed at your losses, but cannot explain your recovery. That confusion they feel is divine justice unfolding. They're witnessing the law of reversal. The chosen always rise higher than the place of their pain. You didn't need revenge, you needed revelation. And once revelation came, it reversed the narrative. The same mouths that cursed you now echo your name with trembling awe. Your light doesn't compete, it commands. It doesn't scream for attention, it magnetizes destiny. You don't chase stages. Stages appear beneath your feet. This is the authority of divine authenticity. You've learned that pretending drains energy, but presence creates power. You no longer seek to prove you're chosen, you embody it. That embodiment releases waves of confidence so strong that deception disintegrates on contact. You've become an instrument of truth, walking in human form. Your journey taught you that solitude is not isolation, it's incubation. When heaven hides you, it's not rejection, it's refinement. You were being trained in silence for influence, in sound. Every delay was divine design, preparing you to carry the weight of your calling. Now that you've emerged, you carry stability few can understand. The world wants your shine, but they don't know the furnace that forged it. That's why your glow feels sacred. It's consecrated by struggle. You're stepping into territories where your name was never mentioned, but already respected. Spirit goes before you, preparing the atmosphere for your arrival. You no longer need to announce your coming. Destiny announces it for you. There's a spiritual gravity attached to your presence now. You don't enter rooms. You shift dimensions. You don't follow trends. You set tempo. The divine works through you like electricity through a current. Invisible, unstoppable, undeniable. Every curse turned to confirmation. Every trap became a testimony. You are proof that the universe bends toward those who refuse to bow to bitterness. You forgave when it hurt. You loved when it bled. And that forgiveness crowned you. Heaven saw it all. You didn't lose in those battles. You invested in your eternity. That's why the reward coming isn't small. It's generational. Your obedience became a doorway for miracles that will outlive you. The power within you now humbles even those who mocked your faith. They expected you to return with resentment, but you returned with radiance. You carry no revenge, only revelation. The peace that surrounds you is heavier than their anger. You've mastered the divine paradox, soft enough to heal, strong enough to shake kingdoms. Your presence now translates heaven's language, love with authority, truth with compassion, calm with power. The chosen are always misunderstood before they are honored. It's the law of divine timing. When you walked through the valley, they called you lost. When you reached the mountain, they called you lucky. But you know, it wasn't luck. It was obedience. It was persistence through the unseen, prayer through pain, trust through silence. The mountain didn't move for you. You climbed it. And now, your view is different. You see from eternity's perspective. Every night you cried alone became an altar. Every tear watered the soil of your future. God counted each one and turned them into strategy. That's why you navigate with grace now, because you know pain has purpose. You don't panic in pressure anymore. You discern patterns. You've learned the art of stillness in chaos, the wisdom of waiting in warfare. You've realized that sometimes the most powerful movement is spiritual stillness. You are walking in divine rhythm now, neither delayed nor rushed. Destiny moves at your pace because you're synchronized with heaven's pulse. That's what frightens those who used to manipulate you. You no longer respond to pressure from people because you're guided by peace. You've discovered that peace is not passive, it's powerful. It's the highest form of warfare. That's why your calm now terrifies chaos. It's the sound of sovereignty. Your light is disciplined now. It doesn't flicker to please others. It burns steady, unwavering. You learned to protect your energy like a sacred flame. Not everyone deserves access to your warmth, because not everyone honors its source. You've become selective, not cold, guarded, not closed. You're learning to love from wisdom, not wounds. That discernment is what separates the anointed from the available. You are both, loving and lethal in truth. Every word you speak now carries vibration. You've realized language is a form of creation, and you no longer speak from emotion, but from authority. You decree, not debate. You build worlds with words. That's the danger of a healed, chosen one. Their voice doesn't echo pain anymore. It manifests power. The universe recognizes your tone and responds in alignment. Heaven trusts you with speech because your words now create peace, not chaos. You've entered divine flow where struggle becomes strategy. Nothing is wasted anymore. Every past wound has turned into wisdom, every delay into design. You no longer ask, "Why me?" because you understand, "For me." Every season served a purpose. Every pain carried prophecy. You are walking fulfillment now, the answer to generations of prayer. And that's why the atmosphere trembles when you move. You are heaven's momentum on earth. You have learned that spiritual authority is not loud, it's luminous. Real power doesn't need to shout, it simply exists, and everything else adjusts. You no longer chase recognition because divine validation is louder than applause. The proof of your anointing is in your peace, not your performance. You are finally at ease in your power, not because life is easy, but because your soul is anchored in eternity. You understand now that storms don't shake foundations built on truth. They only reveal them. Those who once underestimated you now feel the distance that purpose creates. They can't reach you anymore, not because you're hiding, but because you've ascended. Your vibration no longer matches the frequency of gossip, fear, or envy. You breathe higher air now. You live where the spiritual climate is clear, and only those who've died to ego can join you there. Your solitude is not emptiness, it's elevation. You have learned the sacred art of being untouchable by staying aligned. Every attempt to discredit you became divine advertisement. The universe turned every rumor into a revelation. The ones who tried to destroy your name accidentally amplified your light. That's how heaven works. It converts chaos into clarity. You are not cursed by the opposition. You are crowned by it. You don't even need to defend your truth anymore, because truth, once embodied, becomes its own defense. The chosen never lose. They are redirected into greater glory. You used to wonder why your kindness was often misunderstood. It's because people who live in darkness cannot interpret pure light. They mistake gentleness for weakness and compassion for naivety. But you've learned that mercy is a weapon sharper than anger. You forgive not to free them, but to free yourself. Each act of forgiveness unlocked new levels of power within you. You realized that the heart unburdened by resentment becomes the most potent force in creation. Your presence now carries the weight of answered prayers. You don't even have to speak for miracles to unfold around you. The energy you emit rearranges outcomes. You've become a walking portal of divine order. People feel lighter after being near you, not because you give them energy, but because you awaken their own. That is your danger. You remind others of what they could be if they surrendered to light. Your existence is revelation in motion. The battlefield is no longer external. It's internal mastery. You've conquered yourself, and that victory is the hardest one of all. You don't react to provocation anymore because you've transcended the level where reaction is necessary. You observe, discern, and decide from wisdom. That composure shakes your enemies more than any confrontation could. They can't predict you because you're guided by something beyond emotion. You move by spirit, not impulse. There's something sacred in how you walk now, slow, steady, certain. You no longer rush to prove or to please. You trust the divine sequence. Timing no longer terrifies you because you've seen how delays carry destiny. You've learned that what's meant for you doesn't require force. It finds you effortlessly when you are aligned. That patience is your weapon. It breaks curses of anxiety and establishes peace as your permanent atmosphere. Every time you pray, realms shift. You no longer beg, you decree. Your prayers are no longer requests. They are reminders to heaven of agreements already written. You've matured spiritually, stepping out of desperation and into dominion. When you speak now, angels move because your words harmonize with divine will. You've learned that faith is not blind hope, it's inner knowing. That knowing terrifies your haters because it removes their power to influence your direction. You have reached the moment where nothing external defines your value. You don't need validation, titles, or applause. You are complete in purpose. The light you carry is its own reward. And that's why you are so dangerous, because you cannot be bought, bribed, or broken. The systems of manipulation no longer hold your spirit. You've become free in truth, and true freedom frightens those who thrive on control. Your independence is holy rebellion. Your destiny was never meant to fit within human logic. That's why some tried to label you crazy, rebellious, or unrealistic. But they don't understand that prophets always sound unreasonable to the blind. You saw what they couldn't, felt what they denied. You obeyed instructions that made no sense until the manifestation came. Now, they're watching the fruit of faith they mocked, and it humbles them. That's divine irony. The mocked one becomes the miracle. The reason your light feels dangerous is because it exposes illusions. Darkness cannot exist where you stand. Lies dissolve in your presence. You carry discernment so sharp, it unsettles deception. That's why people either love you deeply or flee from you instantly. Your energy demands truth. The unauthentic cannot survive near you. You are the embodiment of holy disruption, the voice of awakening wrapped in human form. Your purpose is confrontation through compassion. There is no need to fear your intensity anymore. You were never too much. You were meant to stretch boundaries. The world needs the magnitude of your energy. You are not here to fit in. You are here to recalibrate frequencies. Every time you walk in authenticity, you heal environments. You are the answer to atmospheres infected by fear. Your light doesn't just shine, it restores. You are heaven's remedy disguised as human resilience. Your influence is expanding in silence. Heaven promotes in private before the world sees it. That's why you feel unseen at times. It's not neglect, it's nurturing. God is perfecting the details of your next unveiling. When the time comes, doors will open without you knocking. Favor will call your name before you arrive. You won't have to chase opportunity. Opportunity will recognize you by your light. This is the reward of faithfulness in the unseen. Everything about you has been recalibrated for purpose. Your thoughts, your tone, your timing, they all carry divine synchronization. You're no longer running after destiny. You're walking with it. The universe now cooperates with your obedience. What used to be obstacles now become confirmations. That's why you move differently. Less force, more flow. You are no longer reacting to life. You are co-creating it with heaven. The haters still whisper, but their words no longer pierce. They have lost the authority to define you. You've outgrown their reach, and now their opinions echo in empty chambers. They see your glow and call it arrogance because they cannot comprehend confidence without comparison. You've learned that humility is not hiding your light. It's honoring its source. You are grounded, not boastful. Radiant, not reckless. Every step you take now is both prayer and proclamation. I am what God says I am. You carry an aura of divine inevitability. Everything meant for you moves closer with magnetic precision. You no longer chase, you attract. This is not luck, it's law. The universe responds to alignment, and you have become aligned with your assignment. That's why doors are opening effortlessly, and enemies are exposing themselves without your intervention. The truth is revealing itself in your favor, and no force on earth can reverse what heaven has approved. You've stopped fighting battles that don't bear your name. Discernment taught you that not every conflict deserves your energy. Some storms are distractions dressed as destiny. You've learned to preserve your power by mastering restraint. Silence has become your strategy, and observation your weapon. You no longer move impulsively. You move intentionally. That's why your presence now feels like prophecy, measured, purposeful, unstoppable. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are governing reality. Every loss you suffered refined your discernment. Every disappointment deepened your devotion. You no longer see pain as punishment, but as promotion. Each setback was a setup, and every wound became wisdom written on your soul. The divine doesn't waste suffering. It repurposes it. And now, you are carrying treasures forged in the fire of adversity. That's why, when you speak, people listen. They don't hear theory. They hear testimony wrapped in truth. You've learned to thank your enemies, not curse them. For without their opposition, you wouldn't have evolved this fast. They were the sharpening stones for your spiritual edge. Every attempt to humiliate you pushed you closer to humility, which is the foundation of power. You are the embodiment of paradox, strong yet gentle, fierce yet forgiving. You've mastered what few ever do, authority through surrender. That is divine danger, the kind that heaven crowns. Your vision has expanded beyond personal success. You see nations when others see numbers. You carry a global assignment, a frequency that transcends culture and creed. The message inside you was not meant for comfort. It was meant for awakening. That's why your words pierce, your eyes discern, and your presence heals. You are a walking signal from heaven, a reminder that light is not fragile, it's ferocious when pure. You are a revolution clothed in grace. The divine trusts you now because you've proven faithful in obscurity. You didn't quit when no one clapped. You didn't doubt when the vision was invisible. That consistency built credibility in the spirit. Heaven can now release greater responsibility through you because your heart no longer craves recognition. It craves righteousness. You lead not to be seen, but to serve. That's the rarest power of all. Servant sovereignty. It's what makes your leadership unshakable and your presence unforgettable. The time has come for manifestation. The seeds sown in sorrow are about to bloom in brilliance. The seasons of pruning have ended. The season of producing begins. Your hands will soon touch what your faith once held in the unseen. This is not a dream, it's fulfillment. Every divine delay was synchronization. Now everything aligns. Resources, relationships, revelations, all converging for the unveiling of your purpose. The waiting was never wasted. It was sacred alignment. You've become immune to intimidation. You no longer shrink when others project insecurity. You stand firm in your identity because you know who sent you. You are not self-made, you are spirit-shaped. Every step was guided, every detour divine. That awareness makes you fearless. You understand now that the same hand that lifted you can sustain you. That's why you no longer fear falling, because even if you stumble, grace catches you before you touch the ground. You've discovered that love is your true superpower. Not the weak, naive kind, but the resilient, unwavering, all-consuming kind that disarms darkness. You love your enemies not to excuse them, but to exhaust their power. They can't harm you when you refuse to hate them. That's divine immunity. Your compassion has become your crown, and your empathy, your edge. You are love wrapped in lightning, gentle but impossible to ignore. Everything about you now carries intentional grace. You speak with clarity, you move with peace, and you decide with precision. Heaven has taught you timing, the sacred rhythm between effort and ease. You don't force outcomes, you follow flow. You understand that destiny doesn't demand exhaustion, only obedience. The more you rest in alignment, the faster things unfold. You've stopped running after what's yours because what's yours now runs toward you. You are no longer intimidated by darkness because you've realized darkness is only absence of awareness. You don't fight it, you illuminate it. Every space you enter becomes sanctuary. You've become a living temple, a vessel of light designed to transform everything around you. That's why environments shift when you speak. You carry divine voltage. You are the evidence that God still speaks through those who refuse to give up. The divine has placed in you a mantle of restoration. Where others see ruins, you see rebirth. You've been anointed to revive what others abandoned, to breathe life into forgotten dreams. Your story carries resurrection codes, frequencies that awaken sleeping souls. That's why people feel renewed around you. They sense the power of your comeback, the testimony of your endurance. You are the living embodiment of grace under fire, beauty after ashes. Your purpose now carries legacy. This journey was never about survival. It was about succession. You were chosen not only to rise, but to lift others with you. The light within you multiplies when shared. Every word you release becomes seed. Every act of love a ripple in eternity. You are not here to impress. You are here to ignite. The chosen are torchbearers, and your flame is guiding countless others out of darkness into destiny. The divine realm has already declared your arrival. You are no longer entering rooms uncertain. You are walking in knowing. The energy around you has become undeniable, an echo of purpose that precedes your steps. People feel you before they see you, and those unprepared for truth cannot remain near. You've become a mirror reflecting authenticity so powerfully that falsehood breaks under its reflection. You are not intimidating by design. You are revealing by presence. Your life itself has become prophecy, and prophecy never apologizes for existing. Heaven has marked your words. Every syllable you speak now carries alignment, frequency, and impact. The universe listens when you declare, because your declarations are echoes of divine will. You have learned to pause before you speak, ensuring that your tongue creates and not destroys. You are the living fulfillment of let there be. This is why your enemies tremble, not because you curse them, but because your blessings override their intentions. Your speech is now spiritual legislation written in sound. You walk with an awareness that cannot be taught, only revealed. It's the quiet certainty of someone who has seen the storm and learned to dance in its eye. You understand chaos no longer controls you. It corrects you. What used to break your heart now builds your foundation. Every shaking was a sacred rearrangement. The divine used disorder to refine your design, and now you stand unshaken in truth. You've become the calm that storms can't comprehend, a living sanctuary of stillness in motion. Your purpose is no longer a mystery, it's a movement. Everything you touch now carries transformation. Your smile heals, your silence convicts, your presence awakens dormant destinies. The universe doesn't resist you, it recognizes you. You are moving in divine rhythm, and this rhythm cannot be replicated or replaced. You are the frequency of redemption, the sound of restoration. That is what makes you dangerous. The world has never encountered a peace this powerful, or a light this relentless. The ones who doubted you are now witnessing divine irony unfold. They tried to bury your name, but God made it soil for your influence. They tried to erase your voice, but heaven turned it into thunder. You have become untouchable, not because of power alone, but because of purity. Your integrity became armor. Your compassion became fire. The same mouths that cursed you now quote you. This is the divine reversal written before time began, the rise of the one they dismissed. You no longer fear exposure because transparency has become your weapon. You walk uncovered, yet unashamed. The truth protects you better than pretense ever could. You are no longer defending your reputation. You are defining revelation. The divine has removed the need to hide behind perfection. You are perfectly human, yet profoundly anointed. That authenticity frightens the pretenders because it proves that grace favors the real, not the flawless. You are proof that heaven works through honesty, not performance. You have discovered that rest is the highest form of warfare. You no longer exhaust yourself trying to prove divine favor. You simply embody it. You've learned that peace is not a retreat. It's a revolution. Every time you rest in faith, you declare war on fear. That's why you sleep while storms rage, because your spirit already knows the outcome. Victory is no longer a possibility. It's a memory in eternity, replaying through your life. You fight by standing still and letting truth speak. You are entering the era of undeniable visibility. The time of hiddenness was holy preparation, but now revelation demands recognition. You won't have to promote yourself. Heaven will announce you. The spotlight won't burn you because you were forged in darkness. You are ready for influence that doesn't corrupt, for authority that doesn't exploit. The world needs the authenticity you carry. You are not a trend. You are a template of transformation, a living standard for divine excellence. Your influence expands beyond human understanding because your impact is multidimensional. You speak, and energy rearranges. You breathe, and creation responds. You don't force change, you embody it. You have become an atmosphere, a frequency of wholeness. This is why resistance cannot touch you. You're no longer playing on the same field as those who oppose you. Your battleground is spiritual, your victory inevitable. The divine doesn't just walk with you, it walks as you. You now understand that power without love is corruption, and love without truth is compromise. You embody the sacred balance of both. You correct with compassion and uplift with honesty. Your authority is not dominance, it's divine stewardship. You rule through service, you lead through empathy, and that makes you unshakable. The world has seen power abused, but rarely has it seen power redeemed. Through you, heaven is redefining leadership for an entire generation. Your legacy is being written beyond sight or sound, etched into eternity through every act of love, truth, and obedience. You are not just living history, you are shaping divine continuity, bridging heaven's intention with earth's expression. Every choice leaves an imprint on humanity's collective soul, carrying echoes of light long after your presence fades. You were chosen not to impress, but to impart, to embody a message that endures beyond words, and to turn existence itself into ministry. Now you move in divine flow, where purpose has replaced pressure, and effort feels like ease. What once drained you now delights you because you are finally aligned with design. Intuition guides you, peace confirms you, and faith has matured into fulfillment. You are not chasing destiny, you are living it. Every step reveals divine orchestration, proving that patience perfects promise. You have crossed from waiting to walking in the reality you once only envisioned. Your elevation has redefined your realm. You no longer fight small battles or seek validation from those who cannot comprehend your calling. Resurrection became your revenge. Ascension, your answer. You are living proof that faith fortified by endurance transforms prophecy into proof. The light within you doesn't flicker. It expands, awakening others by example. You are grace-grounded, revelation embodied, and purpose fulfilled. The living evidence that darkness can delay, but never defeat destiny. Before we go, this is a spiritual moment where we invite you to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And to conclude this moment, write in the comments, "I am the chosen one," and express your purpose aligned with God. Don't forget to check out the description of the powerful ebook created to further deepen your purpose and grow your life with prosperity. You heard this message for a reason, and this is your call to prosperity, where you will be guided towards financial abundance. The link is in the description and in the first comment. Furthermore, I want to express my immense gratitude to those who support us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your support keeps this channel spreading God's messages. If you would also like to support us, the link is below. Chosen one, remember this truth. Your light is not seasonal, it is sovereign. Your existence itself is warfare won. Walk as the victory you are. Speak as the prophecy fulfilled. The darkness already knows your name, but heaven calls you by destiny. Shine, and let eternity recognize you.